What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actors gets humiliated on national television? Tonight, we're diving into the shocking confrontation between Danny DeVito and Jimmy Kimmel that has the entertainment world buzzing. The beloved actor, known for his roles in everything from Taxi to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is threatening legal action after a heated exchange on Jimmy Kimmel Live turned into a public spectacle. Before we get into all the explosive dialogue and behind-the-scenes drama, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below, letting me know whose side you're on in this celebrity showdown. So let's break down this brewing Hollywood feud that started with what should have been a routine talk show appearance, but ended with threats of lawsuits and a PR nightmare for ABC. Danny DeVito was scheduled to appear on Jimmy Kimmel Live to promote his upcoming projects when things went disastrously wrong. According to multiple sources close to the situation, the tension began during the pre-show meeting when Kimmel's producers informed DeVito about their planned talking points. "We'd like to start with that clip from the red carpet last month," one producer reportedly told DeVito. "That stumble. I'd rather not focus on that," DeVito responded. "It was taken completely out of context by the tabloids. I tripped on an uneven section of carpet, that's all. We'll just touch on it briefly," the producer assured him. "Then we'll move right into discussing your new projects." DeVito, always the professional, reluctantly agreed but made his position clear. "I'm here to talk about my work, not to be the butt of jokes about some mishap." When the cameras started rolling, however, Kimmel had apparently decided to ignore DeVito's wishes. After the initial applause died down as DeVito walked onto the stage, the conversation immediately went off the rails. "Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Danny DeVito," Kimmel announced as DeVito settled into his seat. "Danny, it's great to have you here. Before we get started, I want to show everyone something that's been making the rounds online." Without further warning, Kimmel cued the video screen behind them, which began playing footage of DeVito stumbling on the red carpet. The clip had been edited to loop the moment of the stumble repeatedly, with sound effects added for comedic effect. "Jimmy, come on," DeVito said, his smile noticeably strained. "That was just a little trip. The carpet was uneven." Kimmel leaned back in his chair with a smirk. "A little trip, Danny. You went down like a bowling pin. Let's see that again, shall we?" The clip played a second time, now with additional graphics and a slow-motion effect. "You know what they say," Kimmel continued. "The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Though, in your case, I guess it's the smaller they are, the quicker they bounce back." The audience's reaction was mixed. Some laughed, but many audibly groaned at the tasteless joke about DeVito's height. "Very funny," DeVito said flatly. "Look, I'm here to talk about the charity work I've been doing with the Children's Hospital and my upcoming directorial project." "We'll get to that," Kimmel interrupted, waving his hand dismissively. "But first I have to ask, were you coming from a party that night? Because that stumble looked like you might have had a few." DeVito's expression hardened visibly. "No, Jimmy, I was not intoxicated. It was simply an uneven carpet, and these things happen to people of all ages. Now, about my work with the Children's Hospital. Speaking of drinking," Kimmel cut in again. "We've prepared a little game I think the audience will love." Kimmel signaled to a stagehand who wheeled out a small table with several glasses of wine. "We call this DeVito or Dano," Kimmel announced. "The rules are simple. You taste each wine, and for each one you correctly identify, we donate $1,000 to charity. For each one you get wrong, you have to tell us an embarrassing story from your career. What do you say?" The camera caught DeVito's expression darkening further. "Jimmy, I don't think that's appropriate given the context," DeVito said firmly. "There are already tabloids running with this narrative that I was drunk at that event, which is completely false. I'd rather not feed into that." "Come on, Danny," Kimmel pressed, his tone growing condescending. "It's all in good fun. The audience came here expecting a show." He turned toward the audience. "Don't you all want to see Danny play along?" The audience response was notably tepid, with only scattered applause. "I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with this," DeVito said, sitting up straighter in his chair. "I came here in good faith to promote projects that are important to me. I didn't come here to be mocked about my height or to have false narratives about my sobriety perpetuated for laughs." Kimmel's expression shifted to one of annoyance. "Wow, someone's sensitive tonight. I thought you had a better sense of humor than this." "There's a difference between humor and humiliation, Jimmy," DeVito responded evenly. "I've been in comedy my entire career. I know the difference." "Well, the Danny DeVito I thought I knew wouldn't be so uptight about a harmless joke," Kimmel retorted. Maybe it's an age thing. The older stars do tend to get cranky at this point. Several audience members were audibly expressing their disapproval of Kimmel's treatment of the beloved actor. DeVito leaned forward. You know what, Jimmy? I've been in this business for over 50 years. I've worked with some of the greatest comedians and directors of all time. And in all those years, I've never been treated with such blatant disrespect on a talk show. Blatant disrespect? Kimmel scoffed. It's called comedy, Danny. Maybe you've forgotten what that is. No, Jimmy. What I do in It's Always Sunny is comedy. What you're doing right now is bullying, and I won't sit here and be bullied. With that, DeVito began to remove his microphone. You're seriously going to walk off? Kimmel asked incredulously. Over a few jokes? They're not jokes when only one person is laughing, DeVito replied. And from the look on your audience's faces, even they aren't enjoying this. The camera briefly panned to the audience, many of whom appeared uncomfortable or outright disapproving. Fine, Kimmel said with a dismissive wave. If you can't take a joke, maybe it is time for you to go. We'll be right back after these messages, hopefully with a guest who remembers what it means to entertain an audience. As the show cut to commercial, viewers at home couldn't see what happened next. But multiple audience members later shared videos on social media, capturing the heated exchange that followed. You know what, Jimmy? DeVito could be heard saying as crew members rushed to intervene. I came on this show as a favor. Your producers begged my team because you needed a big name to boost your failing ratings. And this is how you repay that favor? By trying to humiliate me. Oh, please, Kimmel responded, standing up from behind his desk. Your career has been on life support for years. If anything, I'm doing you a favor by giving you airtime at all. The audience gasped audibly at this remark. You think my career needs your help? DeVito laughed incredulously. I was winning Emmys when you were still doing blackface on The Man Show. I've worked with Scorsese, Coppola, Burton, and Milos Forman. What exactly have you done besides read cue cards and kiss celebrity ass? At this point, network executives could be seen rushing onto the stage as the confrontation escalated. Get him out of here, Kimmel reportedly told security. And make sure his team knows he's not welcome back. Don't worry, DeVito responded as he was ushered toward the exit. My lawyers will be in touch. Let's see how funny you find a defamation lawsuit. When the show returned from commercial break, DeVito was gone. Kimmel addressed the audience with what many described as a smug, insincere explanation. So, Danny DeVito had to leave early, folks, Kimmel said with an exaggerated eye roll. I guess it's past his bedtime. Or maybe he's got a hot date with his anger management counselor. The joke fell flat, with audience members visibly cringing. The fallout from the incident was swift and severe. By the following morning, clips of the uncomfortable interview were trending across social media platforms, with public opinion overwhelmingly siding with DeVito. Celebrities quickly came to his defense, condemning Kimmel's behavior as unprofessional and mean-spirited. DeVito's representatives released a statement that sent shock waves through the entertainment industry. Mr. DeVito has been a respected figure in Hollywood for over 5 decades. The treatment he received on last night's broadcast of Jimmy Kimmel Live was unprofessional, deeply hurtful, and potentially damaging to his reputation. We are currently exploring all legal options regarding what we believe was a calculated attempt to humiliate Mr. DeVito and spread false implications about his character and conduct. The statement continued. Mr. DeVito has always prided himself on being accommodating to fans, journalists, and talk show hosts throughout his long career. However, he will not stand by while his reputation is tarnished for the sake of cheap laughs and ratings. Sources close to DeVito revealed that the actor was particularly upset by the suggestions about his sobriety, which he felt could negatively impact the children's charities he works with and the family-friendly projects he has in development. Danny is meticulous about his public image because of his work with children's organizations, one source explained. Having Kimmel repeatedly imply he has drinking problems on national television isn't just personally offensive to him. It could affect his ability to continue the charitable work that means so much to him. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at ABC, network executives were reportedly in crisis mode. Internal emails leaked to entertainment news outlets revealed frantic discussions about damage control, with one senior executive writing, "This is a complete disaster. DeVito is universally loved. Kimmel comes off looking like a total jerk. We need to get ahead of this before it does permanent damage to the show's reputation." The situation worsened for Kimmel when several former guests came forward with their own stories of unpleasant experiences on his show. One actress who requested anonymity told reporters, "It doesn't surprise me at all. Jimmy has always had this mean streak that comes out when the cameras are rolling. He thinks humiliation equals humor." Rob McElhenney, DeVito's co-star on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, was among the first celebrities to publicly defend him. In a scathing social media post, McElhenney wrote, "Danny DeVito is not just one of the most talented actors I've ever worked with. He's also one of the kindest, most genuine people in this industry. The way he was treated on Kimmel's show last night was disgraceful. Danny has more talent and integrity in his little finger than most people in Hollywood have in their entire bodies." Other Always Sunny cast members quickly joined in supporting their colleague. Charlie Day posted, "I've worked with Danny for years, and he's always been nothing but professional, prepared, and generous with his time and talent. Anyone who treats him with disrespect doesn't deserve to breathe the same air as him." Caitlin Olsen added, "Danny is beloved by everyone who works with him because he treats every single person on set with respect. From fellow actors to the craft services team, he deserves the same respect in return." Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, who co-starred with DeVito in Twins and Junior, weighed in on the controversy. "Danny is an American treasure and one of my dearest friends. Jimmy Kimmel should be ashamed of himself. In all my years knowing Danny, I have never once seen him treat anyone with anything less than kindness and respect." The public backlash against Kimmel continued to grow, with the hashtag boycott Kimmel trending nationwide. ABC's sponsors began receiving thousands of complaints from customers threatening to boycott their products if they continued to advertise on Kimmel's show. Meanwhile, DeVito's legal team wasn't wasting any time. Sources confirmed that they had already sent a formal letter to ABC demanding a public apology from both the network and Kimmel personally, as well as significant damages for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. "The letter makes it clear that this isn't about money for Danny," explained an entertainment lawyer familiar with the situation. "It's about clearing his name and ensuring that Kimmel and ABC understand there are consequences for this kind of treatment of guests. The demand for damages is substantial enough that the network can't simply dismiss it as a cost of doing business." As pressure mounted, ABC executives reportedly tried to arrange a private phone call between Kimmel and DeVito to smooth things over. But DeVito's representatives declined, insisting that any apology needed to be as public as the offense. "Danny feels strongly that this isn't just about him," a source close to the actor explained. "It's about standing up to a culture of mean-spirited humor that targets people for things they can't control, like their height or their age. He's willing to take this all the way because he believes it's important to set a precedent." Industry insiders began speculating about the long-term impact on Kimmel's show and career. "This could be a turning point," one network executive commented anonymously. "Viewers have been growing increasingly tired of the mean-spirited approach to comedy that dominated late night for a while. DeVito is so universally liked that this incident might be the catalyst for a broader pushback." The controversy took another turn when rumors began circulating that several high-profile celebrities had canceled their scheduled appearances on Kimmel's show in solidarity with DeVito. While these reports remained unconfirmed, the show's producers were allegedly scrambling to book replacement guests. "No one wants to be the first big name to cross what amounts to a picket line," explained a talent agent whose clients include several frequent late-night guests. "There's a sense in the industry that this is a watershed moment. How it plays out could redefine the relationship between talk show hosts and their guests." As the days passed, pressure continued to mount on Kimmel and ABC to issue a formal apology. Ratings for Jimmy Kimmel Live reportedly plummeted in the aftermath of the incident, with viewership dropping by nearly 40%, according to preliminary Nielsen data. The situation reached a critical point when several major sponsors announced they were reassessing their advertising relationships with the show pending resolution of the controversy. Faced with the prospect of significant financial losses, ABC executives reportedly delivered an ultimatum to Kimmel: apologize or face possible suspension. Industry observers noted that the timing couldn't be worse for Kimmel, whose contract with ABC was reportedly up for renewal in the coming months. "This puts him in an incredibly weak negotiating position," explained a veteran television producer. "Even if they don't cancel the show outright, this gives the network all the leverage in the world to dictate terms." For his part, DeVito maintained a dignified silence in public, though sources close to him indicated he was deeply touched by the outpouring of support from fans and colleagues alike. Danny never wanted this to become such a big story, one friend explained. He simply wanted to be treated with basic respect. But now that it's become this lightning rod issue, he feels a responsibility to see it through. As the entertainment world waited for the next development in the unfolding drama, one thing became increasingly clear. In the court of public opinion, Danny DeVito had already won. The question now was whether Jimmy Kimmel's career would ever fully recover from the self-inflicted wound of disrespecting one of Hollywood's most beloved figures. Industry analysts suggested that the incident highlighted a generational shift in what audiences find acceptable in comedy. There was a time when punching down was standard practice in comedy, one cultural critic noted. But today's audiences, particularly younger viewers, are more sensitized to power dynamics. They see a powerful talk show host mocking an older guest about his height and age as bullying, not humor. As we continue to follow this developing story, one thing remains abundantly clear. Hollywood's unwritten rules are changing, and even the biggest names in television aren't immune to the consequences of crossing certain lines. Danny DeVito's stand against what he perceived as public humiliation may well mark a turning point in how celebrities interact with the media that depends on their participation. Do you think Danny DeVito was right to stand up to Jimmy Kimmel, or should he have played along with the jokes? And what do you think this means for the future of late-night television? Subscribe now and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.